I started doing YouTube when I was young, but I only started taking it seriously around like
2023.
I've always had trouble figuring out what type of content I wanted to make, and I actually still do now. I originally started with Minecraft before I pivoted towards Roblox when I was like 10 years old. All those old videos are long gone by now, but I also made some videos about Team Fortress 2, Undertale, like one fan game, the Battlefield series, Rising Storm 2, and finally Plants vs Zombies. None of those games really stuck around for long, but Roblox was one that I made the most videos on. Ever since then, I've had many ups and downs in my videos and became yet another internet micro-celebrity with a sizable ego. So with that being mentioned, do I regret some of my videos? I mean, yeah, every YouTuber out there has at least made one video they regret making. These were mostly around the games that has given me a certain reputation of being a hater or rage baiter, apparently, focusing on the negative aspects more than the positives of a Roblox game. So after getting tons and tons of those comments and criticisms from people saying that I was being way too harsh in a few games, I've decided to revisit some of them. Shell Shock, Centaura, and Horizon Blue. I was going to include the Rainbow Friends in this video, but that game is too easy to criticize. I mean, come on, that's for literal fetuses. Shell Shock is an interesting case. It's been almost 2 years since I made a video on that game, but it's kind of what established me, if you could even say that. I hated the game because it felt like it was a pretty colossal insult to the people who died in World War I, and the history about the war with its very tone-deaf depiction, like the weird character faces, ripping sounds from Mario 64, Half-Life 2, and dumb drunken rants from Team Fortress 2, pitching all of the sounds to sound like chipmunks, which arguably makes the game's attempts at trying to make people take this seriously even worse, and generally awful gameplay that made me feel like this game was almost actively trying to disrespect those who fell during World War I. So what about now? A few people in the comments when the video was still up were pointing out various things, not including why I did at 7 minutes mark, that the game got updates that improved on the gunplay and a couple new features. Cool! So there's a new first-person system that makes the game more immersive, I guess.
What the fuck? Fucking Roblox physics, man. Well, he's gonna die before. Oh, I was trying to snipe him, but that artillery fucked him over. Anyway, can you stop humping me for a moment?
There's also tanks and anti-tank guns now, and the tanks are extremely glitchy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, this seems about right. What the fuck? Yeah, it works. Yeah, that honestly fits Shell Shock.
And the anti-tank gun is controlled with WASD like the machine gun turret.
I didn't mean to snipe him, but yeah, that works.
And not really much else was... This hasn't gotten any better.
How am I supposed to take this fucking seriously when all I hear is just Alvin the Chipmunk having a goddamn seizure in the fucking background?
Some people might like the new changes. I think the addition of tanks and anti-tank rifles is a neat addition, but they don't really change much considering that the tanks are quite broken and requires 2 people to properly operate one, a gunner and a driver. It's also just incredibly broken. You can just go into first person and equip your gun, so if you do that, the tank freaks out and starts flying everywhere. This new addition is far from perfect. I guess it is nice to see the developers care enough to keep maintaining the game, but honestly, Shell Shock won't ever change until they get rid of those goddamn checkpoint noises, and it will forever be a game that tries to force you to take it seriously while Mario in the background gets shot to death by German bullets. I can't recall if I ever explicitly said that I hated the game, but I don't think I ever really did hate it. I criticized it a lot and I think I called it just mid at best, you know? Mostly saying that the gameplay got stale and that the story was shit. But ever since that video, the game and the story, which spill over into that ahead, has changed so much that it has quite literally rendered what I said in my original video basically outdated.
I haven't realized. Oh my fucking god, dude!
To cut straight to it, yes, I do regret the video, or at least half of it. Centaura has seen a lot of improvements since my video. The Aquila update was released and it looks like we're on the horizon, no pun intended, for the Vega update next, which will feature new Antarian vehicles, weapons, and the Vega faction. There are also giant changes made to Centaura's lore, changing a lot of aspects that I had previously complained about, with Maya Tau no longer in the story, rip Bozo. The Aquila maps are also a significant step up in quality, with Tolona and Roland's Prairie being considerably more well balanced. Thank fuck. The Aquila update did also introduce Route 23, which is shit, maybe even worse than Capri Valley, and I feel like that statement's going to apply even more given that pretty much all of the Southern Corvus War maps, the ones where Cetus fights in, will receive a remake, not including Blackton since that map already did get a remake. Centaura also received a new equipment system that allows you to change weapons if you've unlocked the corresponding badges, either be it achieving over 100 kills in a single match or playing an entire theater of war without leaving, like playing all of the Aquila maps in one go. While most of them are just decent visual changes, the ones that are exclusive to the Aquila and Civil Guard are probably the most unique out of all of them, and that's definitely not because I think the Decima shotgun is the best fucking thing the developers have ever added. In hindsight, I thought I was too harsh on the game. That was not the worst part of the video though. I did make bogus claims about GK Trombley, or Classic, I'm just gonna call him Trombley, particularly the apparent gore thing he was into just because he wrote the Sandra story, which from my knowledge is pretty much not canon anymore aside from Corvin's cutting people up, which were not true and were lies spread from members of the Porger community. Both communities at the time were pretty big enemies with each other. From what I can gather though, the whole rivalry was more so born from the community than the actual developers, so again, I was wrong on that as well. Nowadays, both communities have mellowed out significantly, and I was in the wrong for accusing Classic of that because it wasn't true and also insanely slanderous. However, even before its immediate closure, the Centaura server, or as it used to be called, Cat Inc., they had some interesting things to say if you search for all of the times they cut off one letter to dodge the slur filter like the N-word and the F-slur. But do I regret spreading lies about GK Trombley? Yeah. Those rumors and allegations about him were clearly not true, and I should have done more research, and additionally, I should have actually talked to him first. But do I regret criticizing the community? No, because why would Trombley have to shut down every single chat on the goddamn server? Think about that. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I actually talked to Trombley and Duck about it, so peace in our times. Yeah, no, I still don't like this game. I probably don't hate it as much as before, but I do not regret, and I'm going to say that again, I do not regret making the Horizon Blue video, and this game still feels like shit to play. I do know that the game restarted development and received a big update that reworked a couple things, which is why I ended up revisiting it. I have to say that I am, to the surprise of some of you probably, very happy that the revolver got nerfed and is no longer the strongest motherfucking thing on the planet.
Okay, so I was wrong. They didn't nerf the fucking revolver at all. God fucking damn it.
And the map designs are way better now, with plenty of cover given to both attacking and defending sides on the French and German teams. Fort Boysborough definitely has the most interesting redesign, which I did actually enjoy a lot, given that it now has a unique game mode akin to Territories game mode in Rising Storm 2, where the attacking team must capture 2 objectives in a sector before they can move on, with the defending team having the ability to recapture and basically reset the attacker's progress. I might be biased because Boros was the only map I liked before the game's development was cancelled and restarted, but I do have to say that the other maps' redesigns range from not very good to, yeah, this is a massive improvement. These changes were all made by ex-Centaura contributor Scott Ladd, whose work on Centaura, although unfortunately not making into that game, did make Horizon Blue far better by actually incorporating good level design. Weapons are also far more balanced, I guess. The MP18 that the Germans had was split into 3 variants with different magazine sizes. Sure, I guess this is kind of a weird change since I doubt anyone would want to use an MP18 loader that only has like 8 bullets in the magazine, but this is a good step towards actually balancing the gun selection because aside from the revolver, the submachine gun was pretty oppressive, even if I didn't mention it in the video because the revolver was just too powerful. Unfortunately, I still don't like the game, and I genuinely cannot bring myself to enjoy it.
Fucking hit both my arms, but not my torso? I got shot once and 3 of my limbs are bleeding again.
These changes definitely make Horizon Blue a lot less painful to play, but I still occasionally have to deal with the fucked hitboxes, causing all my limbs to start bleeding when I get shot in the foot, and some of the maps receive visual changes that seemed a bit excessive. Like, yeah, the new lighting is cool and all, but was this necessary? Even when revisiting the game, pretty much every fiber of my being couldn't force itself to enjoy even a fraction of a goddamn second playing this fucking game. It is not fun. It is certainly not an enjoyable experience either, and most of the times that I actually managed to have a little bit of fun was because I was abusing map geometry and finding myself in funny places to snipe people from, which they certainly did not enjoy. In the original video, I hated the game primarily because it had horror balancing and some really bad gameplay designs. No, I haven't forgotten about how every single part of your body starts bleeding the moment your toes come in contact with a bullet, because apparently we need an even more literal meaning to lead poisoning. There's also the map designs being bad, the revolvers being stupidly powerful for handguns that isn't meant to be as good as rifles, or the artillery being so bad that had to be nerfed twice. And it's just that I don't enjoy the game. It isn't fun. I have to repeat that so many times. It feels like a chore, at least to me. Like, it feels like a schedule that I have to keep maintaining every time I boot up the game. It is not enjoyable. In my heart, I still do not recommend the game. I kept calling back to Rising Storm 2 or Red Orchard 2 when it came to Lizrin and Artifact Pixel's previous game, Frontline Karelia, and originally the initial Horizon Blue script mentioned Horizon 2 far more often. But what I'm trying to say here is that even though Rising Storm 2 and Karelia are both very slow-paced games compared to Horizon Blue, at least both of them were fun and enjoyable to play because of how careful you had to play your moves. While Horizon Blue, I felt like I was being subjugated to getting my head bashed in because, again, playing this game felt more like a fucking routine than something to enjoy. You play games to have fun. So the way I would describe Horizon Blue is basically a violation of Article 3 of the Geneva Convention relative to the treatment of prisoners of war. Fuck you, I'm making that joke. A lot of people were sending death threats. Or were basically trying to justify why the game had this or that bad mechanic because it's about World War I, therefore it's okay since the game is intentionally designed that way, which if you think about it is basically saying that games are intentionally bad and therefore immune to criticisms, which is something I've really experienced before when it came to the Shell Shock videos comments section, except the death threats part. No amount of World War I German LARPers in my comments section can convince me that this game isn't shit, at least in my eyes. If anything, Horizon Blue is definitely one of my most controversial videos, if not the most controversial video on my channel right now, not including a certain other video that I may be intentionally avoiding mentioning for now. But do I regret that video, Horizon Blue specifically? No, because I fucking hate that game, and that is my genuine opinion on Horizon Blue. It's way more playable now, and the maps are definitely more balanced. Actually, no, everything is far more balanced, but I still don't enjoy it. I cannot find it in me to find enjoyment in this fucking game. Now, of all games to cover in this video, this wasn't one I was expecting to come back to. Out of all of the videos I've made on both my old and current channel, this is the one I regret the most. I intentionally didn't mention it at the start or even in the title or thumbnail of the video. There's not enough words I can use to describe how much I regret this video, but obviously I'm talking about Decaying Winter. For the longest time, ever since my apology video, which I released some time ago and you can still watch now, the Decaying Winter video was something that I deeply regret and wish I had never made. This isn't really about the fact that I cheated, and yes, I was wrong about that. And it isn't even about my criticisms about the game and the lore, but it's the fact that I covered some very disgusting allegations about Archeximus, the original creator of Decaying Winter. However, at the time, I thought I was doing the right thing reporting on it, but only after the video was uploaded that I found out that the person who gave me the evidence in the first place was lying to me the whole time, and the evidence about the allegations were fake or taken out of context, having intentionally done so to chase an adrenaline high over quote-unquote exposing a massive Roblox creator, even if that evidence was completely shit. I was pretty justifiably banned from Decaying Winter and clowned on, and this is forever a black mark that I have to live with now, and again, I cannot emphasize on how much I regret making that video and how guilty I feel. And then I found out I got unbanned recently from both the game and the Discord, so to say that I was surprised the developers and Cheximus friends were willing to forgive me is a massive understatement. Unless they don't, so that's fine as well.
Fuck.
Anyways, here's some footage of me trying to get back into the game, and struggling very badly.
Oh my god! Holy shit.
I should mention though, that if anyone in the Decaying Winter community still holds a grudge against me for that video, that is entirely understandable, even though I sometimes find it funny. If you still hate me for it, that's entirely up to your purview, and I get it. I still beat myself up over that video. Over the past 2 years, ever since I've become more notable, I have made videos that I reflect on, some of which I regret because of the mistakes I made in them. I'm not exactly the most mature person in existence, but it's things like these that convince me that I'm still capable of maturing, learning from my past errors, and correcting them as I see fit. Not all games are perfect, but that doesn't make them immune to criticism. That's the one thing I encounter the most while making videos, in which people will throw themselves into the fray and try to convince you up and down about how this or that particular mechanic is designed in such a way that you simply don't get it, even if the mechanic is objectively really terribly designed or should at least be given a rethink rather than avoiding it altogether. But that being said, I'm not perfect either. I don't consider myself a rage baiter. If anything, I just make videos talking about Roblox games and the positives and negatives simply because I'm interested in doing so. I get that people think I'm more negative because I highly focus on games' bad aspects, but do I do it for attention? No, not intentionally at least. That is the truth. I do it because if I think something sucks, I'm going to say it fucking sucks. It's something that I've come to a reckoning with after I finished my notoriety video, the previous one, which, although I thoroughly enjoyed making that video, I realized that after the video was uploaded that even though I praised and recommended that game alongside the Petty series, I still focus on a lot of the parts that made notoriety not as ideal as it should be. Anyways, this was sort of just a filler video that I was interested in making for quite some time. I'm still not sure if I should have put Decaying Winter in, mostly because I personally think I shouldn't be allowed to touch a game over my video on it from a year ago, but if people choose to forgive me, then that's up to them. Okay, this part wasn't scripted. I don't know what else to say, but thank you all for the support and guests or something.